You're like really insecure about looking at your phone. You don't want to be seen as a Zoomer, right?
Does it? Of course not.
Welcome again. This is episode of Northwest Ohio Unknown Metal Review. Because some people might get upset about us saying underground. Because technically there's no underground anymore because of the internet. It's a very slight technicality. So, once again, we have 3 metal EPs we want to talk about. 2 of them are actually Spanish black metal. I select these randomly from Metal Archive's recent released category. They weren't even on the same page, and I managed to select 2 black metal albums from Spain. So, the first artist we're going to talk about today is called Bastard of Loran, and they have their EP called Shrouded by the Twilight. To me, it's like a mixture of post-black, epic black, atmo black, and melodic black, so it's like everything. This EP really made me happy. Like, honestly, while listening to it, I was just like, this is so relatable. Like, it's so, like, cold, and, like, there was a rainstorm, and I was walking while listening to this. It's just, like, a lot of, like, organ, really intense, like, false chord vocals, really just a lot of keyboard stuff. The whole album is really dark, but also, like, super emotional, a dreariness that's, like, really relatable to me. The journey that the album's on is very, inspiring, but also a lot of depression and anxiety. There's, like, a very intense opening to the album. It starts with organ and then instantly transitions into blast beats that, expands on the organ playing. It's super intense. There was also, like, a lot of, like, rising chord structures that contrast against the power chord riffs that are more static. I don't know if it's a timpani, but there's like orchestral drums that are really cool. Obviously, Celtic Frost influenced. I really liked some of the vocal moments, like, can you see the fire that burns inside them? It was like super cool, and it's just like so like powerful and like, hell yeah, I'm about to go on an adventure. It's like got this really epic vibe to it, and I have no other way to say that. Feels like post-wartime music.
It was good. I really enjoyed it. There's a contrast of sounds that is unique. This album did remind me a lot of Lichgate. It's a little more vibrant.
I think it's like super colorful, specifically to like blacks, purples, and blues.
Yeah.
The second album we're gonna talk about is also Spanish black metal. This band is called Saint Soul. The EP is called The Castle Behind the Forest. The main thing that I noticed about this album is that it's like really unpredictable and zany and weird. Crazy changes like every other bar, but honestly are really like entertaining. It gave me some Carpathian Forest vibes. I really love Carpathian Forest. Like the rock and roll and groove metal influences that are dispersed throughout this EP. Pretty usual in its instrumentation. There's not like any symphonic elements or anything like that. It has a little bit of thrash to it. To me, I really think it's just groove and melodic black metal. Some production issues that I noticed was like the kick drum was like really loud. I am a little crazy and zany, but I do not like to be physically assaulted by drums. But yeah, there's like a lot of really silly parts. There's a lot of out of tune guitar and bass stuff. I don't know why the person who made this did not tune their instruments thoroughly, but also the drumming, I don't know if it's live drums or programmed, but it's really sloppy and out of sync. It's an entertaining album, but poorly written.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one. It obviously has a lot of production and composition flaws, but there are some good ideas in it. A lot of the transitions don't really work well, and I noticed there was some kind of odd static or clipping sound in the background, which...
I noticed that too.
Yeah, it was very distracting. But overall, I do believe this was a solo project. Be curious to see how the creator of this fares in the future.
Also, for some reason, there's no vocals. I don't know why.
Yeah, the first song I felt definitely at least needed vocals.
So that brings us to our last EP of the day. Neoterix, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Animal Holocaust or something, that's what it's called.
I think so.
This EP is also kind of silly. This album's primarily a groove metal album with death metal interspersed in it. Really like aggressively masculine. I really like the vocal approach. The vocalist has a really interesting accent. Like they had a lot of energy, but they weren't like, I don't know. They had a lot of energy though. There's a lot of pentatonic lick sections and soloing. It's pretty sparse, but it happens on occasion. There's also some like outside riffing that like does not fit into the key that they're playing in, which is interesting. Adds a little spice to what otherwise would have not much happening really in any of the songs.
Yeah, it was, it's very unusual. Vocals were very raw and in your face, and it really seemed like it was just a bunch of metal musicians from the Indonesian scene, I believe. It seemed like they just got together in a room and had a fun time.
I was a vegan for a while, and I was also an environmental science student for part of my college career, so I always appreciate environmental themes in music.
Agreed.
Alright, that brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you. If you like our stuff, subscribe please. We're just doing this to spread awareness of unknown artists and musicians and peoples. Thank you for watching. We're going.
Take care, folks.